Hey, what's up, everybody? Charlie Baker here, Tattoo Charlie here, with another deck tech video. Wanted to say thanks for all the views on my last video, and thanks for all the comments. I kind of made that Grey Wolves video. It was kind of like an extension of the meme, and to kind of show a little support into sorcery. Honestly, I know 500 views isn't a lot, but I was really surprised today when I checked the comments on that and saw the amount of views on it. So thanks a lot, and thanks for checking the video out. Just like you, I assume you're pretty starved for sorcery content, so hopefully I can be a contribution to it. Saw some great comments on there, like Grim Reaper destroys this deck, and was like, absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. And I also saw another interesting comment. It was like, hey, explain to us how these things lay out on the field. And that's a really smart comment. And I'm here with another deck tech video today, and hopefully I can better illustrate how the realm works and how your optimized battlefield is going to look like with these decks. So I thought a great instance of that is going to be my showcase for today, which is going to be Flamecaller. And Flamecaller is really cool. It's going to be tap, player, draw a sight like every avatar. And it's going to have a special ability of tap, banish all dead fire minions, shoot a projectile. It deals damage equal to the sum of the threshold of fire in your graveyard. So we're building around Flamecaller today, guys. Flamecaller, for me, when I saw the new avatars in beta, was, for me, the most interesting looking one. You know? Second being to Air. Air is literally the Storm deck, you know, in MTG kind of terms. But Flamecaller definitely caught my interest, and I think is really the coolest out of all of them. So what I want to do with Flamecaller is to create a backline avatar that's going to be able to track your opposing avatar and strike with a large amount of damage against it with the projectile, and in some way, maybe, unlikely, but maybe, deal a death's door blow with it. So it is going to deal a huge sum of damage, or it is going to deal that death's door damage fairly easily, one or the other, rarely both. And I have in the deck ways to make either or occur. So with Flamecaller, at the beginning of this deck tech, we're going to do Cerberus in Chains. Cerberus in Chains automatically follows you and can't move itself away, right? So Cerberus in Chains is a great way to defend against Battle Mage, especially early in the game, when they just have that Sword of Flames on there, when they just have one of their equipments on there. It's going to eat up a lot of this damage and strike back against it, kind of holding back that Battle Mage. And also, on top of that, it's able to come in and strike, and then when you move, it's going to move back. So, up, turn, strike, you move, it comes back with you. So, it's always on a chain with your Flamecaller, producing and defending against your avatar. Now, it's not obviously it's not perfect, but it is gonna help you eat a turn or two of damage against your total, protecting you against Battle Mage. Battle Mage, I think you are going to see a lot. Battle Mage is the most hands-on kind of avatar I think you're going to compete against, second only to Avatar Earth. But Battle Mage just kind of, I think, holds to the heart of a lot of players, and people are going to play Battle Mage. Cerberus in Chains kind of helps solve that problem. Next thing I wanted to address is the draw package that we're going to have in this deck. Red or Fire element does not have a lot of card draw in their deck. So we're going to max this out, and that's going to be through Pact with the Devil, sacrifice the caster, or lose half your life, rounding up if you do draw 3 cards. Caster is a spellcaster, okay? Get rid of your spellcaster, it's free. Also, half of 0 is 0. This is 3 cards at death's door. This is death's door at 1 life. You know what I mean? This is strong, and this is a good card, and it's fairly cheap. Hopefully it can draw you into those finishing blows like your Fireballs. So that's going to be 1. Also, we're going to do 4 of Mad Dash. Mad Dash says, draw a card, then give an ally movement +1 this turn. Those are going to be really great for things like, you know, your Colicky Dragons or your Vile Imps. We'll get more into the creature package later, but being able to draw a card and giving something an additional movement to help strike down or to kind of bring down your avatar and ability. I mean, it can go towards your Cerberus and Chains. Being able to go 1, 2 into your opponent's realm is very useful. Another chunk of our magic package here is going to be Critical Strike. The next time an ally strikes a unit this turn, it deals double damage. No brainer. Obviously, we know what that's going to do. Anything you're going to have on the battlefield, you need to wipe down an opponent. You need to clear out your area to keep your avatar safe. Critical Strike is going to help you do that. Disintegrate. Next card. Banish target minion and everything it carries. This is going to help you. You know, this is interchangeable sideboard tech, but this is going to help you get rid of things that are going to be like Doomsday Devices, Devil's Eggs, Prometheus and Chains, things like that are going to kind of be a pain in the ass. This can help you get rid of that, and the minion is carrying it. One of those in your deck is more than suitable, and it's easy to kind of pile that into your sideboard tech and remove that when you don't need it. Going into our kind of main theme of the deck outside of Flamecaller, I want to do in this deck 4 Walls of Fire. It's an ordinary aura, and it says conjure atop the border of a site you control. Whenever a unit passes through the wall of fire, it takes 3 damage. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Going towards into our front lines here and placing, obviously a situation like this doesn't occur, but you know, having Walls of Fire here, not only coming down, it's going to deal the damage, but coming out, you know, into these spaces, it's going to deal 3 damage. It's going to weaken your opponent's minions for you to do defending moves, stuff like that, killing smaller creatures, trying to come in to deal damage to your Flamecaller or to deal damage to your realm. Mind you, this is taking a space of 4 here. So, in moving outside of those areas, here, or here, is going to deal 3 damage towards that. So, that kills a lot of minions and covers a lot of space. So, I think Wall of Fire, in Sorcery, I think walls in general are just kind of a little better than they would be in Magic. Give them a try. I thought this card was interesting. I thought this card was funky. And part of the kind of theme of decks I like to build is to find these more funky cards and use them and see what happens. And so yeah, Wall of Fire I think is a very cool card to play with in this deck here. Next card here, Awakened Mummies. I think it is a great companion to Wall of Fire. Summon Awakened Mummies burrowed safely. When an enemy unit moves onto the ground above them, they unburrow and intercept. So these things come up out of the ground and strike. You know? You're dealing 3 coming out. These are coming up and dealing 3. So, Awakened Mummies, really great. Protects your realm and inhibits your opponents from coming in. They're going to need something strong, you know, and they're going to need something with 7 power to come in and strike down on your realm, you know, given the combo of this in a certain area. They're going to have to move around them, which, again, is going to be pretty hard in a grid of 5 and 4. You know, when this hits 4, coming out of that's taking 4 spots and then moving out 1. So, equally spaced, can be pretty interesting. let me know in the comments if you tried this out and tell me your experiences with them. Colicky Dragonettes. I love this card. This is in the Fire Starter deck. At the end of your turn, Colicky Dragonettes shoots projectile. It deals 1 damage. That's every turn. This thing gets out of hand quick. It's always shooting 1 if you don't kill it. And that 1 damage, again, when we're trying to shoot for that Flamecaller strike, you know, that's Death's Door. That's a little tiny foot soldier. That's something. That thing's moving around and just pinging around for 1 behind this wall of fire. You know, Colicky Dragonettes. I love them. I highly recommend it. I don't have to say much about Vile Imp, but we're going to play 4 of those. Genesis may deal 2 damage to target adjacent unit. Yeah, just a shock on a guy. Vile Imp, do it. One of my favorite cards, and I think a good build around this deck, is Aramos Mercanaries. You may discard a card at random, a random card, then pay the spell's mana cost. I mean, that's turn 1. That's hippie. You know what I mean? Doesn't do discard cards, but you discard a card, you play it out, you force it out. Boom. You got a guy chucking around for 3. That's pretty good. That's pretty strong. You can just play it on top of your Flamecaller. You can just stack these on your Flamecaller if you need to protect it. Aramos Mercanaries is really good. I don't see these get played, so let me know how that goes. I think that's a good card. Cauldron Crones. I got 4 of these in here, and these are cool because they're spellcasters. Genesis, you may sacrifice another minion here to draw a spell. Once your minions here stop doing what they need to do, once people get out of this area that you've built, this wall of this kind of booby trap pit that you've built to, protect your Flamecaller, Cauldron Crones can come in and eat them up, further increasing your graveyard pile, increasing your fire threshold, and allowing you to kind of regenerate that card draw. So 4 of these at 1, honestly, you want to get these in here, you want to block with them, and then you want to put them in your graveyard. You want to get that fire threshold. Side note, kind of got that fun extra dark blueprint on one of these betas, but 4 of these Cauldron Crones look good. And then we get into the last couple bits of magic here. Firebolts, we're dealing some direct damage in a projectile form. Shoot 3 projectiles in the same direction, 1 at a time. Each deals 1 damage. Clean up some area after a wall of fire comes through. Deal that Death Door. Whatever you need to do. A little bit extra magic. And this is kind of the space I built towards of our elites here. That a little bit more on the flavor side, a little more what I kind of feel is classic red. These are things that can be replaced with Philosopher's Stones and cores and mixes. One of them is Ancient Dragon. It's airborne. Tap, deal 4 damage to each other unit at target location nearby. Yeah, it's a little bit of spot removal, and it's a big hitter. 6 is strong enough to get through your wall of fire, and it's strong enough to strike down and kill a lot of your opponent's creatures, and just kind of fly around your area of protection and deal damage. The main idea of this deck is that you want to have this good backline, avatar here, and these guys are in the front protecting your realm while this thing is charging and shooting a huge ray of, oh shit, towards your opponent. So Ancient Dragon, I feel, is kind of something more on the side you want to keep, but again, they are a little bit more interchangeable. Infernal Legion is just kind of Colicky Dragons on crack. At the end of your turn, deal 3 damage to each other adjacent unit. This thing is just burning up things, and it's just as strong. Has a huge threshold here. That can build up quick. If you don't necessarily need it, hopefully you can get chucked into your graveyard. You can use it to block, take the damage with, whatever you need to do. Again, more likely probably getting switched out if you need to in your sideboard tech, or in if you're trying to power up. But Infernal Legion is kind of nothing to shake a stick at, and a very good card. Maze Minotaur is my most kind of flavorful pick, and most likely what would get taken out in those optimization builds. Enemy minions can't move themselves out of a maze of 9 locations nearby Maze Minotaur. I think this is cool because this encourages the Wall of Fire build. 9 is nearby. You move him 1. That's the new 9. This doesn't have to make a lot of steps to cover a lot of area and kind of lock in your opponents to where it needs to move. Isn't necessarily going to want to come in against a 4. It's up to you. It's kind of hard to kill with direct damage. Easy to submerge, but again, fun flavor build. Let me know how it works out in your build if you choose to use it. I think it's fun. I think it might surprise a couple people. People don't necessarily build around a concept of I can't leave around the Maze Minotaur. So yeah, I think it's fun. I think it might surprise some people. Again, so that's the main deck here. I'll kind of rummage through this once I'm all done with this video here. But now we're going to go kind of fly through the site package and then kind of talk a little sideboard here. Top card here is going to be the most funkiest choice of all of it, least optimal choice, but it keeps your brain thinking and kind of moves into towards the sideboard bit, is Oasis. It's a water and a fire. It's a body of water. So it can encourage your water builds to kind of build towards their body of water, which can punish them later, second game with the sideboard. Again, not the most optimal build, but I put this in here, trade it out for what you think is best. But part of the fun of the game, I think, is to kind of lure in and maybe do something a little bit funky and see what happens to better learn it. We got 2 copies of Free City here. Free City's cool because it deals damage, but it doesn't take the damage. So, Free City protects against the realm. So having someone you can't strike Free City and then you take 3 damage. It just deals 3 damage. Doesn't seem like it should be that way, but that's how it's in the rules. Double check me. Message me in the comments if I'm totally mistaken on that. But all my games and all our readings on that, it feels like Free City should probably be eroded because that's a little too good. Mirror Realm. This thing's going to copy our next couple cards here. Things like the Geistwood. Genesis abilities are also Deathrite abilities. That's going to be your, your Cauldron Crones or your Vile Imps. You know what I mean? Other Genesis abilities here are also going to double up. Having 2 of a unique is good. Kind of Vesuvius, pretty good. Try that out. Mirror Realm also can hit Shifting Sands depending on your turn. Reactivating the Genesis abilities of your nearby deserts, which obviously we're going to have the entire 12 of, building out our 20. So obviously you're going to be in no shortage of fire threshold in with this deck. That's why I feel like Oasis doesn't harm you as much as it could possibly benefit you. And that's where we're going to talk about our sideboard here. Clamor of Harpies in our sideboard. 3 of these. Combats against Palaberry Bats. Combats against your rushy stuff, against your weaker minions under 3. And these things eat those things up. Replace them where you need them. Poison Nova, lethal. Deal 1 damage to each target nearby minion. Need I say more? It's great. Go for it. Use it. You're going to have a lot of spellcasters in this deck, and this thing is going to be able to strike anywhere you need it, clearing out a section of the board, allowing you to do the finishing moves you need to do. Putting a Poison Nova on a place where somebody moved through a wall of fire is going to be very, very useful. Scorched Earth. Choose any number of sites you control, destroy each of those sites and everything there. So you're turning some stuff into rubble and everything there. So you're going to... Any number of nearby sites you control is a lot. You only really need 2 or 3 threshold fire. So go for it. Just clear out your front line. Turn it all in the rubble. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You're only going to need a few. And if you got your big thing in there, you should be able to handle your late game. The only thing you're going to lose is your mana total. So consider it. Might be a good play. Boil. Destroy all minions occupying target water site up to 2 steps away. against water deck, this might be a good strategy with your Oasis. This might be a good strategy. Again, it's just a good strategy against the water deck. Water's biggest strength is also its biggest weakness. And I think a couple boils in this deck is going to help out, especially sideboarding. Drought, same reason. Affected sites aren't water sites and provide no water threshold. That is going to shut down a lot of water decks, especially when these things are, your Leviathans. Putting down his aura on top of a Leviathan is going to really hold up that person's ability to turn that Leviathan into a creature. So yeah, Drought, I think you need one of them in every deck. One of them in every sideboard if you're going to be playing against water. It's a good sideboard hoser. And then you have an Infiltrate. Gain control of target enemy minion until it deals damage. Tap it, it gains stealth. This works great against you. If you played a couple games of Sorcery, you've had to deal with this already. This is just as easily a main deck option as it is a sideboard option. At your discretion, use it as you need it. This is probably a 1 or 2 of main deck in a lot of decks. I put this in the sideboard just to kind of get your brain jumping around on what to do with this. But yeah, have one of these can never hurt. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna kind of rifle through this one more time and just kind of share my last thoughts about kind of how you'd want to play this deck. This deck is untested, but it has been kind of stewing out in my brain for a minute. Hopefully next time I get to play Sorcery with my playgroup and my LGS, I'll get to let you know how it goes. Also, please let me know in the comments if you built something similar and how it works for you. I think there's a lot of really cool iconic cards. And there's some cards that I feel like I haven't got to really look at and use them. Aramos Mercanaries, honestly, is one of my favorite cards. Just the idea of being able to pitch it, and you're just kind of doing a creature version of Force of Will, and it feels good. It doesn't feel clunky. I think it's really cool. Vile Imp is just a staple, man. I think Vile Imp is the lightning bolt of this game in a lot of ways. It's very good. Colicky Dragonettes is a pain in the ass. Every time I played against Colicky Dragonettes, I have been trying to figure out a way to get rid of Colicky Dragonettes. 1 damage does a lot of issues, and also for 3, it's hard to get rid of. Awakened Mummies, I've wanted to build around this thing, and I think it's really cool. I think putting these next to Walls of Fire is just a really cool way to deal funky damage to people. Things that make you go, especially when you're playing this game. I think right now, in this early stage of this game, is huge. You want people thinking about interesting kind of interactions and stuff, especially since we have a large game that's going to require a meta shift, between its lifespan between the next set. Firebolts. I mean, I really don't need to explain that. Firebolt is kind of, if you've played Magic, or played card games, you just know what that does and how good that is. Disintegrate, it's just good. Put one of, interchange it between that and your infiltrates, Critical strikes. A double strike is pretty good, especially when you have a big creature out, you need to kind of finish it up. Mad Dash, we're using this. This can come and surprise you. And being able to draw a card, never a bad idea. Pact with the Devil, put one in, obviously it's unique. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching my video that many times. Talk to me in the comments, I just appreciate it. It's really cool. I never really thought I'd get 500 views on a video about a card game, but I think this card game is really cool. I said in the last video, it's a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments, what kind of deck do you want to see next? What kind of funky card in any color or avatar do you want to see get built around? I don't want to build optimized, meta decks. You can go to curiosa.io for that. I want to build some fun flavor, and I want to have a deck that I can play that I don't feel afraid about shuffling, And yeah, anyways, this is Charlie, Tattoo Charlie, Charlie Baker, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.